Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, welcome to a very special episode. We've got Lights, Camera, Rant and the Nerd Dose podcast and a very special crossover episode, which myself, Lee, and Zack and Kyle. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Well, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, but good morning to you, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, good morning on my side of the world, being from Australia and you guys America. This was a lot of fun to try and get together and timing-wise.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is like our first big collab. I'm really excited about it.
I mean, we were talking an hour before even started.
Yeah, we were. We were like, got to 50 minutes and like, oh, we probably should really start this episode. Like, probably should get going. We thought we would get together and do this collab episode together because we thought, being the similar, fanatics that we are in film and television, and finding you guys, obviously, at my point on Instagram and listening to your episodes, I was like, you know what? These guys are pretty cool, and I need to do an episode with them ASAP. So we started messaging, and this is how we came about, and this is how we thought, we'll do this episode.
Yeah, we completely agree. Kind of connected on Instagram a few weeks ago, and I thought the same thing as you did. Like, we need to collab an episode. We've never done it before, but I'm willing to do it. Let's give it a shot. Definitely be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so far so good, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
I think I was talking to Lee last week, and we didn't know what to do for topics. Because I know you cover a lot of news, and we kind of post whenever we get the chance. But I think we're kind of got like a favorites, recommendations, and something we're excited for.
Yeah, that's right. We were each of our two favorite movies and two movie recommendations if you guys have seen it or if like I haven't seen it, and then two movies which might blow out to 5 depending what movies we're most excited for to see this year. Just being March, there's still so much coming out. So we thought we'll just get a good collab and talk about our favorites and what we're most excited for.
Absolutely. And I think one of my biggest movies has already come out, The Batman.
I completely agree with you. I will be honest. I came in with very low expectations. I was like, no, why they cast Robert Pattinson? Why is the vampire, sparkling vampire guy going to be Batman? This is going to be shit. I want Ben Affleck. And then after I saw the movie, I was like, well, excuse me why I go make an episode why I retract all my statements.
Yeah, I absolutely love that movie, and I can't wait to see it again. I should be seeing it here soon, but we got to do an episode on it because we loved it so much.
For sure. I was shocked on how Robert Pattinson was able to do this because, again, like what you said, like I can only think of Robert Pattinson as the guy from Twilight or even from Harry Potter and Goblet of Fire. Like, seeing him play this role in Batman, like, in my opinion, and I think all of our opinions, I think he knocked it out of the park.
He did. Like, they released the Batman theme before it came out, I think about 2 weeks earlier, and even that I listened to and I thought, this is shit, this doesn't make any sense. Giving back Michael Keaton's theme and then watching Robert Pattinson be the Batman, being a Batman of like year 2, so a lot rougher and not pulling his punches as much. He pulled it off pretty well and convincing. The fact that this isn't like a Christian Bale like Dark Knight where he's clean cut, he knows what he's doing, or Ben Affleck being almost like at the age where he doesn't care if someone dies. Like he portrayed a good year 2 Batman.
I think a lot of people really wanted to see the Ben Affleck come back. I think the original idea for this movie involved him fighting Deathstroke.
Yeah, it was. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I was one of those people that wanted that movie because I'm a big fan of the Arkham games, and Deathstroke is one of the best characters that Batman can fight because of his skill level, being also a mercenary in that hand-to-hand combat style. So I was fully excited when I saw this was going to happen. Not to mention, I can't remember his name. I can't remember the guy who played Deathstroke. He was in the Justice League right at the end.
Joe
I thought his
Manganiello.
cost. That's it. I thought his costume was spot on, and I thought you going against Ben Affleck's Batman would be a gritty, awesome movie. What we got instead, I'm still a lot satisfied, and I will be honest, I can't wait for a sequel to this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Matt Reeves is like creating an amazing universe. And I think the biggest thing I loved about that movie so much was the vibe he was able to set. Again, Robert Pattinson did an amazing job. The amount of emotion he was able to express, just not even speaking, is just mind-boggling. Just to see play out in this amazing movie.
Yeah, it was insane how like the flow of it also, in my opinion, went pretty cool. I love the beginning, especially like getting introduced to who that villain of the whole movie is going to be about with the Riddler. Like I never really thought Riddler was going to be that main villain, and as it was just following through all that plot, like I got a little bit scared as I was watching through this. It was like, oh shit, some stuff's going to go down soon, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like it gave me a sense of like that superhero style, but also a little bit more horror-esque stuff, especially more horror with like Saw, for example, because it kind of gave me that little vibe as I was watching it, which I actually loved, especially.
Yeah, it definitely like anyone who I've recommended this movie to is like, oh no, it's just another superhero movie, it's just another Batman movie. I've been telling people, not really. Like if you've watched like Seven or Saw or what's that? It's got Robert Downey Jr. in it. It's about the serial killer that talks in code. The Zodiac killer. Like that's the other one I've been telling people. Like if you like those movies, you should go see this because that's more akin to what's his name? The worst Batman of them all, George Clooney.
George Clooney, that one.
With the bat nips.
Yeah, the nipples.
Yeah, and the Bat credit card.
Oh my god. I still don't know why they made that movie.
I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I still think like Arnie did a really good job as Mr. Freeze. That's like the best thing about that movie. But the rest was like, no. Why does Batman have bat nipples? Why does he have a credit card? Why is there so much more wrong with this? Why does Bane just look so bad?
Oh, yeah, there is Bane in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know why. God. Yeah, I'm triggered by the movie still.
Yeah.
Old memories of when I'm like, why did this occur? It's like a fever dream.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure George Clooney, I think, even said the fact he keeps a photo of the Batman, of like Batman and Robin as a constant reminder of like don't take shitty roles or something like that.
Wow.
Just right on his nightstand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, his nightstand, like that's right. Don't pick shitty movies.
That's hilarious.
But actually, sorry, go.
What do you think the next villain should be? Should they dive into the Joker, or should they introduce an entire new like villain? I guess.
Actually, before I answer that, what did you guys think of the Joker scene?
The deleted scene?
Yeah, the deleted scene.
I thought the one in the movie was like perfect, or not. I don't know if we didn't really need it, but it was okay to kind of have in it.
Like a nice tease.
Yeah, nice tease. It didn't really take me away from the movie, but after seeing that deleted scene, I was like, I'm on board. Mm-hmm. Let's send it. This looks amazing.
Yeah, getting a new aspect of the Joker also.
Definitely has that Hannibal Lecter vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I did like the tease at the end, and I could straight away tell the fact I'm like, it's going to be the Joker. Like, of course, you're going to tease him first. But the deleted scene I found was like that got me on board more as well after seeing that. Like he's intense, and you could see the fact that he's almost outsmarting the Batman as well. The fact that they've got that relationship already because he said it's their first year anniversary. And as well as there's a scene where he passes him all the paperwork and there's a paperclip. And then when the Joker passes all the paperwork back, there's no paperclip. So that's how he gets out.
Yeah, I think I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely see they have, I guess, maybe not so much a mutual, but there is respect on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think that's really an interesting aspect to dive into, especially with this Batman.
Yeah, I'm excited for how this is going to be because it's going to be a new Joker also with this, right?
Yep, be a new Joker that looks very kin to like Hannibal Lecter kind of style. I always don't want them to like. I'm more happy if the next Batman movie he isn't the main villain. If they don't follow the trend of the Dark Knight, I kind of hope they would do a Mr. Freeze. I kind of hope they do him next. Because I don't know if did you guys ever watch Batman the Animated Series?
I haven't, but I definitely heard of like his storyline. I'm pretty sure like that arc has won awards before.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one in particular, but I think what you said, yeah, I think awards have been won for this.
Yeah, that episode did win awards because of how good it was, and actually that episode actually gave Mr. Freeze like that background. They actually gave him like enriched his backstory and actually humanized him because that story had not actually been told before in the comics.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to see. Like, I'm on board for Mr. Freeze. I'm just wondering how they could do it in this type of universe.
How to mix it in with it.
Because you can definitely tell this. It seems like this universe is a little bit grounded, but then especially with him like using the wingsuit to fly, I'm just curious to know how far they can go. But then you got the venom at the end that he injected with himself. So definitely
I know. I was like, that's all right. He's just taking some adrenaline, but for anyone who doesn't know, they probably just think he's just taking some steroids. But for all the rest of us, we're like, yeah, we know what that is.
Yeah, they tease so many villains that they could do.
Yeah, too much tease, but not enough like action, I guess.
I can't wait. I hope they go a little bit more than a trilogy. I mean, with how many villains that Batman has that everyone wants to see kind of reintroduced or brought up that have never got this kind of light, like a little bit more like Mr. Freeze. People are mentioning Poison Ivy. I personally want to see the Court of Owls.
Yeah, that was my second thing. My second thing I think Mr. Freeze and the Court of Owls, I think would be a good way to, you're introducing a new villain that hasn't been on screen before, as well as you're reimagining one you've already seen on the screen, yet hasn't been that constant. Because by the time that the Batman 2 comes out, it'll almost be like 20 years since Arnie's Mr. Freeze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think Court of Owls seems to be that whole, like, I guess, storyline of maybe even having his parents involved in the court. And it just seems like there could definitely be something there that could be an amazing sequel with that type of villain.
It'll be really interesting how they can mix this in also.
I've heard people mentioning Man-Bat.
Oh, God.
That's a bit of a stretch.
I know.
But his story is kind of sad as well. But I don't think they need to do Man-Bat really. Like that's probably a little bit more. But you could also have Hugo Strange. You could do Ra's al Ghul again, and have the League of Shadows. But I just really, really hope that in this world as well, if he eventually does make enough sequels, I want to see a Red Hood.
Yes.
Ooh,
absolutely.
Would be amazing.
That is something that I want to see 100%. Especially after like seeing clips of what Red Hood was like in the Titans show.
Oh yeah, I love that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Even the animated stuff. Oh,
Yeah, have you guys seen the Batman Under the Red Hood?
No, I've heard it's amazing though.
I think I missed that one, but I've seen other ones. But yeah, I've heard good things from like family and all of my friends.
It's really good, and it's Jason Ackles plays the Red Hood,
That's funny.
and it's actually, I didn't realize this until actually at the end of I was watching it. Bender plays the Joker.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Well, it's on
Yeah.
HBO. Thanks for the recommendation. Definitely watching that tonight.
Yeah. No, like Jason Ackles is like the best part of that movie and you feel bad for the character. Like you feel bad for him and you completely understand why he's like, you know what? Fuck you all.
Yeah, I think that'd be insane. I feel like that maybe more like, yeah, definitely possibly past the trilogy. Because I'm curious to know how much they do time jumps. Are they going to do every 2 years? Could they be the next 5 years? Some people have indicated like, I guess a foreshadow as what was the mayor's kid possibly being a Robin.
Yeah.
I would love that. See that because like you can see the relationship with them that he wants to mentor him somehow in some way.
They kept directing the amount of camera work that they involved around that kid and Bruce Wayne. There's got to be something there.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a connection soon for sure.
Somehow it has to be. And he's the first, Rob Pattinson's the first Batman to wear eye makeup.
I know, I love that.
When he takes the mask off.
The smoky eye.
Smoky eye, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just grounds him more, honestly.
It does. But the funny thing, when I first saw that photo of him wearing that eye makeup, I'm like, you would have been a great poster boy for My Chemical Romance. Like, like perfect. And like, I'm a small boy, whatever that song is. Marching. That's it.
Black Parade.
Black Parade, yeah.
That's it. But you guys, like, what did you guys, I've seen a lot of criticism is that, did you guys justify the length? Like, do you feel like it was too long or it was just enough time? Or do you feel like they could have, like, trimmed the fat just a little bit?
I felt like the 3 hours flew by. I could see maybe like 10 to 15 minutes possibly trimmed because I know like Riddler started off very strong in the movie. I would say the first hour and a half, and then it kind of dove away from that, and then the Riddler popped up like 45 minutes later.
Mm-hmm. That was my thing also because I see it was under 3 hours, like 2 hours 56 minutes was the whole total of it. I would assume at least give me like 20 minutes off of it. I feel like that would have been perfect in my opinion. Because there were some parts when I was watching it, it kind of like made me doze off a tiny bit because I got kind of lost in some parts. But then it kind of picked back up. But yeah, 20 minutes or so off of it would have been perfect for me in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like he could have shaved just a little bit, a little bit off the whole thing. But like I'm a huge Batman fan. I've got a Batman tattoo on me. Batman was the first character that like really got me into comics, and so I was loving this movie from. I was very like switch on in the movie all the way through. I didn't zone out at any point and think, oh my god, this is going for so long.
Yeah, I like the fact that directors are taking this leap towards longer movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dune was pretty close to 3 hours. That came out in the fall. Definitely makes me have hope a little bit more for their creative decisions.
I hope so. I hope so as well. You just got to make sure the fact that it's just if you're going to go for that long time is that you need to make sure the fact that it's intriguing from you don't have that real like dive point. Because I remember watching, I think Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen. I remember looking at that going, this is really long and this is starting to get boring.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and I felt getting bored at some parts of the movie. Like, okay, why was this necessary? Is this really needed for this part of the movie? Like, I don't know. And like you also have to cater towards your audience because you have to have those people that actually will take the time to watch that whole thing. There's like some people that will only watch movies where it's only an hour and 45 minutes long and stuff because people will probably get bored of it. Unless it's really more on like the director side and the creativity of the movie itself to make sure it keeps your audience engaged.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's those same people that will binge 3 hours or 4 hours of Netflix. I'm like, it's just exactly the same. You're just on their couch.
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm glad Venom: Let There Be Carnage was only an hour and a half with how shit that movie was.
And then probably to you also, Morpheus was what, like same kind of time?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just the same amount of time, and it wasn't. It's funny that didn't have a low point. It just got low after halfway through. It just stayed low all the way after. And look, anyone who's going to watch Morbius, the critics, they're right.
Yeah, Kyle was mentioning today that he wanted to see that. And I was like, just maybe save your money if you can.
I know, like my only thing is I would just want to watch it just to feel complete that I watched that Marvel movie in its series. But, like that's my only reasoning why.
Part of you is thinking like, is this movie as bad as they're saying? So then that intrigues you to go see it.
Yeah, that's my other thing. Like, is it really that bad from what everyone I've heard that watched it says? But I feel like I have to watch it myself to get like a full understanding is it really that bad.
It is that bad.
Well, that's
it's just when you watch it, I think with the even like it spoils it. Actually, the movie spoils itself. Actually, in the first half an hour because of the trailers.
That's no surprise. They need to these trailers.
Yeah, you guys gonna watch it? Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Go for it.
Well, there's Matt Smith's character. He plays the brother of Michael Morbius, and they both have this condition when they can't walk properly, right? And in the trailer, Matt Smith's character is walking fine, but in the movie for the first half, he's got the condition. So I was like, oh well, he's also going to take the same serum that Michael Morbius is going to have, and I bet you they're going to fight.
Okay, yeah, I heard he was the villain.
Yeah, he's the villain. Yeah,
that's so funny.
I'm like,
I feel like that makes sense if he would have been a villain.
What really stinks is I don't think he really ever really wanted to do superhero movies before. And I think Karen Gillan, who plays Nebula in the MCU, she convinced him. And I wish she didn't because this movie, I'm sure he's regretting that decision a little bit too.
I think he might. He just needs someone from Marvel to be like, now come to the MCU. We will treat you better. We will take care of you. I'm always curious with Matt Smith because he had a scene or scenes in The Rise of Skywalker, and they got cut. But he's never actually told what it was. He never actually explained. He's like, he said it was something pivotal, but in the end it got cut, and I can't talk about it, just in case.
Weird. I'm very excited to see House of the Dragon this summer.
Yeah, they announced the premiere date for that. That's I didn't realize it. I probably should have waited, but like I shared that on my Instagram, and about 10 minutes later, I'm like, if anyone who's Australian, this date doesn't make any sense. Should have just waited until the Australian poster came out because you guys have the month and day the other way around.
Oh, interesting.
I forgot.
So it says, like for you guys, it'll be like August the 22nd. For us, it's the 22nd of August.
I see.
Oh, gotcha.
So I was like, oh, stuff it. I'm not gonna retract that. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. I love that show. I've watched it twice through already. Say what you want about the ending. I just take the ending with a grain of salt. I try not to ruin the rest of the 6-7 seasons that are amazing. And the fact that they're bringing this show, I'm excited. I'm going to read Fire and Blood this summer. I have like a little book club with a couple of my buddies, and we're going to have a lot of discussion about that.
That'll be interesting. I hate to say it, I haven't really watched Game of Thrones, so don't hate me on that, but I've heard there are good parts, don't get me wrong. I will try to see if I do have time to watch it during the summer. To me personally, it's just like Middle Earth stuff is like not my forte, I guess, for some reason. But I just feel like I just have to one day just like deal with it and just see the drama and see why this show is rated so highly.
Politics, so much politics.
Yeah, and the politics stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. When it came out, it never tickled my fancy. But I remember seeing all the massive hate over the ending, and I was like, and to me, I was like, I don't like it could have been a shit ending, but like even if the ending was, picture perfect, there still would have been people going, oh no, it was shit. It still wasn't satisfying. There still would have been people complaining about the ending because this show had so much hype. It was doing so well, so you kind of knew the ending was no one was going to be happy with it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Biggest show on cable or out there at the time. It was huge. It was groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for 4 years, I think for 4 years in a row, it was the highest torrented show. And within an episode getting released, it was, downloads were through the roof trying to get an episode because the shit thing being in Australia is that you guys get everything first.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Like, we don't actually have HBO Max over here.
I forgot about
really?
that. Yeah, you guys have limited streaming capabilities.
We have a thing called Binge, which works with HBO Max in some form. So we get some HBO Max things, but we don't get everything.
Wow. Did you was Peacemaker released the same time for you as it was the UK a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, that came on Binge. And the funny thing is, I was talking to, I think a week prior to that, I was like, who even owns a Binge account, with Disney Plus, Paramount, Netflix, Stan, with everything, like who owns a Binge account? And then a week later, I'm like, I'll sign up and I'm going to get one and watch Peacemaker. Which Peacemaker, which I was messaging you on Instagram, like that show was bloody brilliant.
10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I went in that with low expectations because I was like, why they use Peacemaker to make a spin-off show? Like, he was funny in the movie, but why does he need a show? And then I'm like, yeah, he needed the show, 100%. His character, everything about that show, the music, the action, James Gunn smashed it out of the park.
Yeah, completely agree. I'm just happy we got to see, or pretty much everyone got to see how great of an actor John Cena is.
Yeah, I feel like he's grown a lot as an actor. Even his career was a wrestler in WWE, and then he's grown as an actor. Like I've seen him in other acting roles that I didn't feel comfortable with, like him portraying in those movies, because I felt like he was kind of a joke. But then, and now he's like also a host of, I think it's Wipeout.
Yeah, I liked him in Blockers. He does comedy really well, and I think it definitely shows in Peacemaker.
It really shines through. I feel bad. I do feel bad for him because he's even said like he's gone for like other superhero roles and everything, and he always got knocked back and everything. So he was really happy that he got Peacemaker. So he was John Cena's done a fantastic job. His WWE career, he's one of the highest selling people or merch people. Everything he did in W was fantastic. He's also done, he's the highest wish granted person on Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's
really?
it, yeah. Yeah, he was the most requested for, I think, a period of time, but he currently holds the record for most wishes done.
Oh, so he commits to it, and whereas other people that were patients that want to see like the other actors, like I don't know, Beyonce, for example, like he actually will fulfill that role.
Yeah, like he'll make time to always go see if there's a kid who requests to see him. So like if they had a tally from all the stars they get, he's like ahead miles from all the wishes granted than compared to anybody else.
Wow.
That's amazing. I
Mhm.
love that. It just shows again how truly good of a person he is and that he loves his audience.
How passionate he is with his fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think that really shows his character, and he's funny, like and um I haven't seen Fast and the Furious, the last one that he was in. I'm not really a big fan of the Fast and the Furious movies. I think they need to finish. Just think they need to be done. But I haven't seen it. But apparently his performance in that wasn't too bad. But then again, that's action. He wasn't comedy.
I did see that movie, and he did nothing in that movie. He just stared out of a window for like 2.5 hours straight.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, that sounds like that was the first movie that did flashbacks too, which just shows that they're running out of ideas.
They just need to stop it.
Yeah. I just like how like, oh, it's his brother. Since when? Since when has he ever said he had a brother?
Exactly. That's so funny.
And how many movies are in there in Fast and Furious? Like 10?
9?
Yeah.
Now we got Jason
There's-
Momoa coming back for 10.
Yep, it's going to end with Fast 11. So we've still got 2 more Fast and Furious movies to go.
Yeah, I think personally, I felt like it started dipping a little bit after 7. I still like 8 a lot, Fate of the Furious, and I also really like what is it, Hobbs and Shaw. I thought that spinoff was kind of fun, but
No, I haven't seen that.
I didn't think number 9, F9, was too memorable. I guess.
I only like Tokyo Drift. That's like fun.
That was a good one. I've seen the first one, the third one, and I think I've seen the fourth one, and then I dropped off. But every time I watch the first Fast and the Furious, it makes me feel old on what they're stealing. And there's like VHS players, thick TVs. I'm like, oh God, shit.
That's so funny.
But let's pull back. We're going on such a major tangent. But like, your movie recommendation was the Batman for this year?
No, that was something I was excited for, but I came up with a couple new stuff. Yeah, we started at Batman. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Now we're on Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I know. Just John Cena, Morbius, just keep going. Game of Thrones, just keep going. So go. Oh, you sorry?
No, sorry, you're good. I was just saying we're just passionate about movies, as you guys can tell.
I think anyone can tell at this stage, which is why you guys were the perfect people to do this episode with.
A couple other movies that I think Kyle and I can both agree on that we're really looking forward to is, of course, Doctor Strange. That's a given, but that's too easy because it's MCU. Every kind of Marvel project we're obsessed with. I think,
Yeah.
it's on. I think Into the Spider-Verse is a big one.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh my god.
Oh, hey, you guys are bloody brilliant because that's literally what I've got on my notes.
Yeah.
'Cause I put down Doctor Strange and I was like, oh, that just in case that was too easy, I put down Spider-Verse.
I love Into the Spider-Verse.
Beautiful.
The music in that movie alone is just amazing as well.
The animation also is what got me. It's like tier animation, in my opinion. I love animation, like movies in general. They just killed it with this one. They mixed with the animation and the comic book style. Like I'm so excited for how they're going to do this with Across the Spider-Verse. Like, is it going to continue on or
Part 1?
Yeah, and part 1 also. So we're going to get a part 2.
Part 1, part 2. Yeah.
More excited.
Amazing.
I love the first one. That was you're right. Like the animation, the music, like What's Up Danger was still on my gym playlist because that's such a killer song. And it's funny, like when I saw the trailer, I was like, all right, let's check this out. And then after I watched it, I'm like, that was awesome. I need to see another one of this. And that's actually that's got 2 MCU players in it at the moment. So Haley, Haley, yeah, she plays Spider-Gwen.
Yep. Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy.
Kate Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and Oscar Isaac is Spider-Man 2099.
Yep.
I'm very excited for that.
So that's probably outside the MCU verse. That's probably the one I'm most excited to see, especially the fact, as you just said, it's part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, I think going back to what you mentioned about What's Up Danger, I think I had Sunflower as my top listened song back in 2020, something like that.
Oh, Sunflower, that was awesome.
I loved it. Post Malone.
Yeah, even just like some of the quotes like from that movie itself, like you always got to take a leap of faith. It's like it's such like an inspirational quote. Like sometimes you do have to take a leap of faith to where you want to go in your life. Like it's like reflecting on. To me personally, it's like reflecting like what can I do to change? Like what do I want to do to make myself grow as a person?
Very relatable.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, 100%. I just love at the beginning. It's like you go with the Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It's like, I was Spider-Man, and then I got divorced. Then I moved out, but I handled it like a champ. Starts crying in the shower.
Oh my god.
Gained weight.
Yeah, he gained weight.
Oh. I had so that's all I had, and then that jumped out of it. So
I really like how they his suit is spray painted. So like it started with him doing a spray painted piece, and then it ended with him also spray painting his suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. I always thought that was really good as well, and I love the scene, the What's Up Danger scene where he does take that leap. I'm like that. The music, him feeling becoming Spider-Man was really good. And one of my mates, which started following you guys, from Mark My Words, he absolutely fell in love with the film. He could not speak highly of it.
It's
I'm excited.
Besides the after the unfortunate delays of 2020 thanks to DC EU because they're shit, you guys looking forward to any DC films this year from what we're meant to have?
Yeah.
No.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was excited for, like, maybe The Flash and maybe Black Adam, but...
I think the most I'm excited for is Black Adam.
Yeah.
Because Dwayne Johnson has had this role for, like, 8 years. So I'm just very curious to see how that's portrayed.
No, even longer. This has been in development since, like, 2006 or 7. He's been attached to this.
Good Lord.
No joke. I'm just curious to see... I'm just curious to see how he portrays it and everything, but I'm like, what I'm really looking forward to is seeing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a role where he's not the hero.
Yeah,
like he's going to kill you.
Mm-hmm. I think they introduced a clip in one of their DC events last fall, and the clip that showed him like electrocuting someone to death, and it was all dust. That looked insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like straight up. He's just like, you know what, gone.
Die.
And we still haven't got a full trailer for it yet. Like we got the clips, but we haven't actually got a full-fledged trailer for that. Which I think that's meant to be coming out in, I think July or August now.
I think it's October actually.
Yeah, I think they're seeing it. I think they pushed it again.
Yeah.
It could be because Warner Brothers is shit.
Like always.
One movie that I think is funny. Well, they moved Aquaman away from Avatar 2, but then they moved Shazam 2 back to that same date. I think that's ridiculous.
They did. I don't, and the funny thing is, the promo material they did for the DC fandom, there was no trailer for Shazam. They only did photos, but everything else has had trailers or clips.
And that's the movie that's coming out this year. I think that's so funny.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like Warner Bros. Has no fucking idea what that they're doing. And as we were just talking about before this episode started, they did the whole promo in January going, 2022 is going to be the year of heroes. 2 weeks later, it's the year of delays.
I feel like I just feel bad for them because it's hard for them to follow up with Marvel. Like,
they've had their chances.
Yeah, and
I think they have.
And they have, and like it's I guess in their heads it's like, okay, how do we top them? I guess it's gonna be hard for them to top. I mean, Marvel is always, in my opinion, superior to DCU. Hate to say it.
I think
No, you're right.
Yeah, I think they need to keep going with these like standalone movies and just stop trying to connect everything. People like Shazam didn't connect to anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tiny little clip at the end of Superman's body. No one really. People love
Why didn't you have Superman? Why didn't you have Henry Cavill? Like, why'd you show 3/4 of his body?
So dumb. Birds of Prey, I don't know. I didn't think that was terrible, but I didn't love it so much. I mean, look at the Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a kind of like a soft reboot, and people like that a lot more than half of the DCEU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was James Gunn.
I liked it a lot better than the original Suicide Squad.
James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's James Gunn got future project with DC 2 coming. Besides,
he does. He's I think he's got a movie project, but I do know that he's confirmed that he has another season 2 of Peacemaker, and he's going to do another spin-off series of another character from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think that's funny.
But do you guys follow him on Instagram?
Oh yeah, he's like the one celebrity that I love to follow because he does so many stuff for his fans. He's constantly liking stuff on Twitter from his fans. He does a lot of Q&As.
Yeah, he does. But did you see his last 2 posts about Black Adam and Guardians Galaxy 2? Sorry, Guardians Galaxy 3?
No.
He was working on one post he did was he was on a soundstage working on Guardians Galaxy 3, and he showed a picture, and it's about Black Adam, and it's all these people who have signed it, who have working on Black Adam. But at the bottom it says it's directed by James Gunn. Oh, yeah. And he posted on Instagram saying, "I've directed a lot of movies, but I don't remember this one." For some reason it says James Gunn.
That's wild. You would think
and
that can't be true.
And his second post he put on Instagram was, he's like, I try to take a photo of Adam Warlock for you guys, but it's kind of how it came out, and it's just a smudge and a whole bunch of lighting, so you can't make out anything. He did it for April Fools.
Yeah, the amount of celebrities that teased us with like April Fools joke is too much.
Yeah. I thought Morbius was actually going to be an April Fool's joke when I saw it came out April 1st. I was like, oh, it's still a joke.
I know, we thought so too. Mm-hmm. That's so funny. A couple other movies that I also listed off on that we're both looking forward to, or at least I am. Yeah. Knives Out 2, that's coming out on Netflix.
I haven't seen that. Was that good?
Oh, I loved it.
I liked it also. Oh,
it was amazing.
Cool cast.
Perfect. I like to say it's like the perfect Thanksgiving movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to put it in the watch list because I know I haven't seen it, but I did know that like Netflix after that came out threw a shit ton of money to get the contract for Knives Out 2 and 3. Like it was a massive deal that they were doing to try and get the director to come back and make another one.
Yeah, and it's funny enough that this is Rian Johnson who directed it. And then I think this was following up The Last Jedi, where he got so much hate. And then this movie dropped, I think, roughly 6 months later or something like that. And I fell in love with it. I mean, it's a great twist on a modern day type of mystery movie. And I think it's awesome from the beginning. It's just great. The amount of character interactions and everything like that. Mm-hmm. It's just, I loved it.
It's like Clue, but more modern.
They even make a joke about it that it's like Clue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And a lot of like, camera work and stuff, like about or like little Easter eggs that you get to see once you finish, like when you do like your first watch through it. Once you watch it for a second time, you'll see like more like clues that you had not noticed, and it's like, oh, they've done a lot of like foreshadowing with this, especially. So it's a really cool movie. I'm excited for how they're gonna do this with Knives Out too, with the foreshadowing and like the Easter eggs that they're gonna come up with and stuff. Like, I can't wait to see how this is gonna be portrayed.
I'll have to go check it out. Real quick, what did you guys? Because you mentioned it, what were your guys' take on the Last Jedi?
Uh, I like the cinematography in it. I think personally some of like the story takes they did, especially with Luke and Ray. I like the idea that it was such a new type of story. It was a new look at the Jedi itself. But personally, I just don't think it panned out as it is. And then to see how Rise of Skywalker followed up, it was just a jumbled mess.
Yeah, I was half and half with it. Like, at least it was cool to see continuation, and we got Luke Skywalker coming back and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like it should have just ended that way. But I was okay watching it again or watching a continuation of it.
I think the dumbest part of that movie is Leia getting sucked out of the ship and then her just opening her eyes and then flying back in.
Yeah, she's like, wee.
Yeah. Which you've never seen her use force powers before, except for that. And you're like, oh, okay, so you can sense your brother, and you can also fly in space.
Yep.
Yet until this point, we haven't seen you even pick up a lightsaber.
Nope. No.
And I've gone back on like breakdowns of that fight scene with Rey and Kylo in that red room, and the choreography is awful.
It is. I actually didn't notice it until I think it was like TikTok, and someone like pointed out, like, actually, like, rewatch this scene, but look at these two guards. Like, what are they attacking?
Yeah, they're just standing there,
Not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's just horrendous. I really hope Ryan gets the chance of directing another Star Wars movie. I think as a movie, by itself, it wasn't as bad as people are like saying it is. I think as a part of the connected universe and franchise that they've built, especially with Force Awakens starting it off, I think that's where it messed up. Like, it was trying to continue a different story that he didn't make. He retconned a bunch of stuff. I just don't think it flowed well whatsoever.
No, it didn't. And the interesting is, you notice the difference between 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6 having George Lucas, even though he directed some, didn't direct others, but he was behind the scenes, he was heavily involved. You see from these 3 movies what happens when you have the lack of direction over a trilogy, because J.J. Abrams directed the first one, and then you had Rian Johnson come in and retcon things that he did, and then J.J. Abrams came back again and then retconned things that Rian Johnson did. It was like, J.J. Abrams, you should have just stayed on, and you should have just done all 3, and it would have flowed better, and you wouldn't have had to spend almost arguably 30 or 40 minutes of both movies just retconning each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Abrams has developed a big enough reputation back then for him to have his own trilogy. I mean, I don't know about you, but I loved Force Awakens.
Yeah, I loved it also. Yeah.
It was kind of like a rehash, a story we already knew, but it was just fun to get introduced to these characters. I mean, Finn was amazing, and to see him like play out throughout the rest of the movies, it was awful.
It was, and and the thing is, like, you teased him in the Force Awakens holding a lightsaber and everything. You're like, oh, cool, this is gonna be really good, and then you just spend the next 2 movies yelling out Rey and doing
honestly
leading a rebellion.
Oh,
leading, and you having an uneventful fight with a chrome stormtrooper that should have lived up to more hype. It's
People were so excited to see that she lived and came back just to see her do the exact same thing she did in the first movie.
Yeah, I don't understand that part.
No. Neither do I. I'm like, oh, that was just a waste of time. And The Last Jedi is the first Star Wars movie where two lightsabers don't touch.
Really?
Yep, two lightsabers don't touch, and that should have been a good indication the fact that this movie was going to be a failure.
Well, the amount of things they introduced, like, Luke can, what is it, project the Force Ghost light years away. Like, I just feel like there could have been so many easy fixes to their creative decisions that they made, but they just chose, no, and we're just going to let it. It's something new.
Yeah, they wanted to do a new way of Star Wars movies, and I guess that's how they want to portray it. But I just think it should have
It's
been.
not the first movie.
Yeah.
That's what's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
No, and the thing is, you could have done it. You could have gone. I understand they're like, oh, we didn't want to make it traditional. Didn't want to be because you guys were all thinking Luke was going to be the hero and everything. I'm like, you could have still done that. You could have still, you could have had him look strong. You could have looked at him train Rey and everything, and then you could have had another similar scene with the fact that Kylo Ren gets the one up on him because he's younger and kills him, and then you would still had that. You still would have that homage to, A New Hope as well. But Luke would have looked a little bit more stronger and not as a hermit that's just sad. Just that's your hero. Like he's not almost completely different to Return of the Jedi.
As soon as the opening scene of him tossing his lightsaber behind his back, I was like,
"Oh, don't talk about that."
Is it a joke? I'm like, are we watching the same movie? Like, what is happening?
Is it a parody? What's going on?
I don't know.
And the space milk.
The space milk.
The space titty milk.
Yeah, and the fact that he had to stare at Rey while chugging it.
Yeah.
There's so many bad things about that movie. I do like Kylo Ren. I actually love Kylo Ren. I think he's a great character, and I just wished they didn't kill him off in Rise of Skywalker, and we got to actually see a proper movie with him. Maybe we could see possibly a prequel of him. Like, I know there was that big time between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I think that could be interesting. I don't know. I really like his character enough, and I really was disappointed with how Rey was handled as well.
Oh, I know. And do you guys remember the Knights of Ren? Because Ryan Johnson doesn't.
Yeah, let's leave him out the second movie, but bring him back for the third movie just to kill him off instantly.
Yeah, but none of them had lightsabers though. In the Rise of Skywalker, all they had was pitchforks and stuff. I'm like, no, what? Well, they all had lightsabers. In The Force Awakens, why are they attacking him with just, they're a bunch of villagers?
Yeah, because they were essentially also, students like Kylo Ren, weren't they?
Well, yeah, that was the thing. It was the fact he took students. This movie just, God, it annoys the shit out of me.
Let's talk about that. Rey could just, send a lightsaber to Kylo Ren, even though he's in a different location. Teleport it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Using the Force.
Yes, apparently the Force can teleport sabers to different places, and you only saw Kylo Ren's redemption arc for about 2 minutes, and then he died. And then right at the end, you have Rey go, Rey Skywalker. I'm like, no, you're not. You didn't earn that name.
But she literally just stole it.
Dude, she stole it from the kiss. That's what happened.
Yeah. And what did you do? You buried Anakin's lightsaber in sand. He doesn't like sand. Have you learned nothing?
God, I hate those prequels so much. I can't wait to see Hayden Christensen return and Kenobi.
That is one of my that's one of the most things I'm looking forward to for this year is the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, having Ewan McGregor come back, having Hayden Christensen come back. The hype, I'm so excited for this.
What do you think of the Inquisitor's makeup?
It looked like he gained some weight. He could definitely look like he's been eating a lot because he very. I think that design needs to be changed a little bit. Like
Yeah.
his lightsaber, that was all fine, but I feel like they could have done that probably a little bit better. Because I know I've seen the fact that that's got like the biggest hate out of the entire trailer. Like that has the biggest hate, but everything else about the trailer everybody loved, like the music, and the fact that you're seeing Obi-Wan at the stage where, or this part of the galaxy where there is no hope. Like everything is just sad.
Now, it's 10 years later after Order 66. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 10 years later. So basically, yeah, Darth Vader's been in power. Well, Palpatine's been in power for a good 10 years since those events, and Obi-Wan has just been on Tatooine.
Wild. I can't wait. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm happy to see that Disney is able to do some really good stuff with their shows rather than their movies.
Well, that's the thing. Like, all Disney TV shows are doing phenomenal because the fact they're not connected to the sequel trilogy. Because you've gone back and you've done a sequel to Return of the Jedi.
And then the one project that is connected to the original trilogy, Boba Fett, I think a lot of people is like at the bottom of the list.
Yep. We talked about this, and yeah, I don't. I'm sorry that I am roasting it, but it just was so badly played out. I'm sorry. I have to say it.
Look, I'm happy because the Mandalorian, like, there's the highest rated episodes, and I still love the meme. I think it's when he's training with the other Mandalorians, and he's like, "Oh, why is this sword so heavy?" It's like, "Oh, because of the fact you're holding up the entire franchise."
That's honestly freaking true, though. To be honest, we can literally go on a big tangent just because of that.
And the thing is, like, the Mandalorian was when they got announced and everything. No one really like there was a niche, obviously, of hardcore Star Wars fans that were looking forward to this, but from everyone else, you're like, oh, why are they doing the Mandalorian? Why aren't they doing Boba Fett? Well, why aren't they doing Obi-Wan? Why aren't they doing Ahsoka or anything like that? Yet, after that first episode, everyone's like, more Mandalorian. We need more Mando.
Yeah, the biggest grime, whatever you might want to call it, that I have with Disney is how are they not able to continuously pump out at least 2 projects a year? Like Rise of Skywalker ended, 2018?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should have gotten way more than just one season of Mando each year. And the fact that Book of Boba Fett, like, pretty much took a step in Mando's place.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, well, I think I know why. Because I think is that the sound stage, or like the special stage that was made for when Mandalorian came out. They only had one of them. And after the success of the first season of Mandalorian, they went ahead. I think they built another one, or they built 2 more. So that was how the fact that they were able to, make Boba Fett, and how Obi-Wan's also going as well.
I did not know that at all.
It's a special stage. They, for obviously trying to build this world that they can interchange everything. Everything moves. Like, if you go look at behind the scenes, it's incredible what this stage can do. But I think there's only one built when the first season of Mando came out.
Yeah, I think you can definitely get a taste of that in I think it's their special called The Gallery. It's like all the of the Mando.
Mm-hmm.
And the technology behind it is just groundbreaking. It's just insane to think about.
The movie production or not even movie, just TV production is so highly advanced. Ugh, can't believe it.
It's ridiculous. And how much money to build one of those stages would be ridiculous. But it shows. The thing is, we're getting these TV shows that are nearly movie A grade, and the fact that they're better, the first season of Mandalorian can arguably be, that is better, it's more pure Star Wars than the sequel trilogy that came out.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, Mando is just,
And
I love it so much.
and there's no lightsabers in it until season 2, which everyone lost their minds at the end, including myself.
We didn't even need a lightsaber either.
No, I think it was just fine without it, just because of how well Mando was.
But the fact that they teased the Darksaber, brought it back, just I loved it. I loved what's his name, Giancarlo Esposito, I think it is. I love him in the show. I love all the actors. It's just 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head a Mando episode where I'm just like, that was boring, or that was bad. It's solid writing, and that's because they've got a whole team of like 6 directors that are pure passionate Star Wars fans, and someone's gone to them, you need to make a TV show that's a sequel to the Return of Return of the Jedi, which is your kids' movie when you were growing up. So you're like, oh, of course I'm going to make it. Of course I'm going to put a lot of love and TLC into it.
I want Bryce Dallas Howard to get a movie. I've talked about this in our Book of Boba Fett episode.
Yes, you did.
She has done an amazing job. She keeps doing an amazing job. Please, just give her a movie, give her a trilogy. Sorry, Patty Jenkins. I know you have a movie set up. Let Bryce Howard. She's your director. Let her shine.
Let her do everything. She's killed it, in my opinion, compared to all the other directors. Even better, I think, Jon Favreau.
Taika, remember Taika did an episode in the first season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that he was a robot. Like he was just like, he was the robot at the beginning. Especially when he goes to take off his helmet. It's like, oh, no man can see my helmet. I'm like, I'm not a man. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you can see my face. No, she did. I don't know if you guys remember in the first season, the episode where they were at that little village, and the walker was coming to attack him. So they're like all trenched up and everything. That was Bryce. That episode that she directed that.
Yep, that's my favorite episode of the season, to be honest.
Well, yeah, there you go.
And it's a show.
And yeah, she's done a fantastic job. And if you guys haven't watched it already, definitely watch the Star Wars gallery on that first season, and you can hear the passion come out of all of them, of just how much love they put into that first season. And as I really do hope she does get to direct more. I think she'll do a fantastic job. I always find it weird the fact that like you're the same chick from Jurassic World.
Yeah.
She's the same chick from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Gwen.
She was Gwen in Spider-Man 3.
She's Ron Howard's daughter, which is also pretty funny, too.
Yeah. I didn't even put those two together until I think I was looking at something about Mando. I was like, oh, of course she's Ron Howard's daughter, you idiot.
I am.
Are you looking forward to? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think Disney has also done good with their solo movies that haven't been connected. Rogue One is personally my favorite Star Wars movie, and I used to hate on Solo, and I rewatched it a couple of years ago, and I loved it. I thought it was really good, especially Donald Glover's performance. And it sucks because they did good with these like own little stories, and they've yet to try to create those again.
No, because the Han Solo did so bad. That's why, because the box office bomb that was Han Solo, that's the direct correlation why both Boba Fett and Obi-Wan have TV shows.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of talks of Kenobi being a movie.
Yeah, there was talks after Revenge of the Sith for him to get his own movie. If you go on like Wikipedia, there's talks going back from 2004 and 2005. Yeah, so Rogue One, I think, is the first like Star Wars movie where the fact it actually is a war film. Out of all the Star Wars films, that's the one actually that deals with war itself because it's in the trenches and everything that's going on. There's nothing flashy. Like it's a real grounded, like to me, the most kindred to watching a war film is that Rogue One one.
They got people who like assisted in war movies, like Black Hawk Down. I know that was a big one, and they brought them on for this movie, Rogue One, so they could really get that war taste.
Yeah, it so shows. But look, guys, we're going on a massive tangent. Do you guys want to talk about your recommendation movies to watch, and then you guys want to end it on a high note?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good to me. I can start.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, a couple of recommendations I have. Chef, Jon Favreau, of course. 2014, such a lighthearted, feel-good movie, a lot of fun, and food porn, like the food
I haven't heard that in a while. Someone saying that. Why do you watch the cooking channel? Just for the food porn.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I love cooking stuff.
And another movie I got is Hot Rod. I think that came out 2000, early 2000s.
That's a great movie.
Yep.
And I love the scene where he's going through the forest and the music's kicking in.
Yes. Such a lighthearted, fun movie. Again, just like Chef. This is so much fun. I love Andy Samberg and his projects.
Yeah, that's and the funny is I only watched that because I think it was just on Netflix or something. So I was like, I'll give it a shot, and I was like, this is actually really good. This is hilarious.
Hilarious. Yeah. Just dumb, very dumb premise, but it plays out. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You want to go, Richard?
You can go next if you want.
Okay, sorry, that was a big tangent. Anyways, I'll just say, one of my recommendations. I'm a huge anime fan, so I've seen a couple cool anime movies from Japan. One of my favorites is Your Name. It's made in Japan. It's pretty much a big love story. Is just with one person pretty much switching bodies with another person, and they're trying to connect with each other, figuring out what's their purpose and why they switch bodies and all that stuff. There's a lot of cool plot twists and all that as well that I loved, and then the music itself, and then like I said earlier, I'm a huge animation fan. Just the graphics and style itself is just mind-boggling. I remember watching this movie in theaters, and it was so intense, and I loved every movement of it. I watched this movie so many times just because of how beautiful it is. So if you are a big animation fan in general, I think this would be a cool top thing to watch. Another one I've seen is called Weathering with You, kind of made by the same studio that made this. Same kind of concept where this person actually got powers, but she doesn't know why, and she's trying to figure out her purpose. I just thought it was a cool love story as well. And these you can watch on HBO Max, or I think for you it would be binge, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't have HBO Max. You guys are so lucky.
Mm-hmm. And then one of my personal favorites in general, Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings.
How good was that?
Oh, I loved it. I watched this movie so many times just because of how good it is.
Such an amazing origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just the hand-to-hand combat alone just far precedes anything Marvel's done previously. Just the hand-to-hand combat alone. And I was pleasantly surprised on that when I watched it. I half expected it still would end with a CGI fight at the end, but just the hand-to-hand combat was really done well.
Mm-hmm. I love the emotion you can feel. You can see the drama and tension you have between him and his dad. They hated each other. You can feel the hatred. You can feel the betrayal and all that stuff. And then you see them come together with that realization. And then it was just intense because I kind of relate to how this movie is because I've dealt with some of these aspects, which is pretty cool because that's what I love about certain movies that you can relate to, and it just hits you.
You feel it.
You feel it. You're like, oh, I've had this emotion before.
Yeah.
So it's one of my favorite movies. And for me, like, this is the first like big Asian American superhero movie. So in Marvel. So that's what I loved about it as well.
Yeah, which blew the box office out of the water. It did so well, and I just love the fact that the main character, I forgot his name, Simon, I think it is. He tweeted like 10 years ago to Marvel saying, Marvel, we need to talk. You need an Asian superhero, and then he tweeted like 5 years later saying, "Hey Marvel, we still need to talk. We need to get this going." And then boom, it actually came to fruition.
Mm-hmm. I'm proud of the accomplishment. He was able to just do it.
The commitment.
The commitment, yeah. Proud of him.
He puts so much into it. If you guys haven't seen the behind the scenes, he dedicated so much to it. The training, everything.
Yeah, I think I saw clips like even on his Instagram because I followed him before because he was a actor on a show called Kim's Convenience that's on Netflix. It's like a Canadian show. I remember him talking about some stuff and even like how he had to like not be in the show. He had to like go through like Zoom or something like that, or like had a camera on him because he was filming Shang-Chi while he was also filming his sitcom TV show, The Kim's Convenience. So I just thought it was really cool working on both of those series.
That'd be a lot of heavy lifting trying to do both. Like, whew.
I can't imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some of the schedules are insane.
Well, exactly right. And then we're talking to wake up depending on the time difference and all that, which I can feel. But no, there's good recommendations, which I will have to find out those anime movies and go check them out. My recommendations, if you guys haven't seen, I would say, if you haven't seen Blade Runner?
Ooh. Oh, I've heard of Blade Runner. Yeah.
It's got the first one.
First.
That's got Harrison Ford in it, and it's typical 80s, but actually it inspired a lot of it's got a lot of callbacks actually to anime cinema, the stylization of it and stuff that's come inspiration from that, from what after that came out, just because of how it was made. But it actually delves a lot into basically what it means to be human. But it does really well because what happens is essentially there's these robots that are very human. They're just to do manual labor kind of stuff, yet they go rogue, and Harrison's Ford character's got to go after them. But the thing is, you don't know who is a robot and who isn't. So it's like a crime thriller.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch this. Definitely been on my watch list. Especially, did you like the sequel? I heard like pretty amazing things as well with 2049.
The sequel was a perfect sequel to that first one. And similar cinematography. Like the best thing is the cinematography in the movie. It's just almost beautiful to look at. And the second one did very well. Ryan Gosling, it did very well. And it does a lot of deal with, how the future is going to progress and everything. But if you guys are just looking for a good action movie, but like a crime like detective story, I recommend that. And my second one, if you guys haven't seen, is The Prestige.
Yes,
I've heard of Prestige.
Love Christopher Nolan.
Yep, yep. That's the movie it's got Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, and I can't remember his name, the butler, Alfred from the Dark Knight trilogy. That's it. Michael Caine, that's it. They're all in it, and it's about two magicians that go head to head. But in perfect Christopher Nolan movie is you get to the end of the movie and you're literally like, what the fuck just happened? Hang on, what?
I love that.
And you have to go back and rewatch it because right at the ending, it's just like, hang on. Well, hang on, I'm so confused. And Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale do a fantastic job. And it's also got David Bowie in it.
Yeah, I'm reading the cast on it, and yeah, David Bowie. Damn.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan sent him the script. David Bowie said no. So Christopher Nolan sent him the script. He said no. So Christopher Nolan actually went to his house. I was like, I need you for this role.
Oh my! I love the behind the scenes stuff. That's so awesome.
Oh, I gotta watch this.
They all put a great performance.
I bet with this cast list, oh, I can imagine.
And the thing is, you're like, oh, yep, yeah, there's Batman, there's Alfred, there's Black Widow, there's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh, and Andy Serkis is in it too.
One of Nolan's earlier films too, before his whole Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Man, he's one of my favorite directors right now. Like, just what he's pumping out. And if you guys want to look at cast list, have a look at his new movie coming out called Oppenheimer. His next movie, the cast list for that is bloody insane.
Let me see.
Yeah, they just keep adding to that cast.
Oh,
It's just nonstop.
Florence
It is.
Pugh.
Yeah, and Gary Oldman got announced 2 days ago that he's also joining the cast.
It just doesn't. It's literally never ending. It's the bigger cast announcement than what Knives 2 got like months ago.
It's gonna be insane because I know about this whole history about Oppenheimer. Like, oh,
Really?
Yeah, I did a report on this in undergrad about the atomic bomb stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is, this movie coming out, Warner Brothers, Christopher Nolan had a contract with Warner Brothers, and it all fell through because of the release of Tenet.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to do like the split HBO Max release, and he was like, no, I don't want to do that. So that deal all fell through, and they've ended their contract relationship together. So this is the first movie that hasn't been through Warner Brothers, and this is the cast.
Damn, this is exciting.
Yeah, Warner Bros. Another mess up on their part.
Yeah, another between that and Wonder Woman, just. But look, guys, I really appreciate you being on the episode. This was a lot of fun to do. I really do hope we get to do another one, because it's been great talking to you guys and getting to your different perspectives. And if for anyone, definitely go check out these guys on Spotify and follow on their Instagram, all together, because both of them are really funny and really good to listen to.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. Like, we had such a good time, and like you said, definitely want to plan out for something, future projects and episodes as well.
For sure. Future episodes, future topics we can focus on even more in depth. Like, yeah, I would be down to do another collab with you. It's been a fun time.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad you guys had fun, especially with Doctor Strange 2 coming around the corner. That will be a lot of fun to find out you guys' theories on that and your thoughts after that comes out. But yeah, guys, thank you for everyone. And yeah, definitely like, share, follow, all the fun stuff. And yeah, until next time, guys.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.